Yeah, I know I'm late. You know what? I really don't care. Really don't care. What's going on here? Have they updated this shit without telling me? Where did the comments go now? I don't want to tag anyone. I don't know what's going on. It's been too long. I think Facebook has updated itself. There we go. Now back to normal. Even someone watching. That's nice. So what time is it? It's evening in Europe. What is it in America? Okay, it's early morning in America. We might have some Yanks on here. Yeah, East Coast at least. Okay. Hey, John Kerry, Joey Showers, what's up? Can you hear me? Sound okay? What's the magic? Oh my God, Tyler Henderson is watching. Tyler Henderson is back. We've missed you, Tyler. You've kind of not been on these Facebook Lives for a while. Maybe it's just the right time. This is all updated. I can wave to people. I can bring them on camera. All kinds of stuff I can do here now. Okay, so Tyler, what's the number? When do I start this thing? I've got some terrible news. We're gonna start with the bad news. We have to go over some silly season stuff I've recently heard. And volume is low. Why is the volume low? Can you hear me now? Is it better now? Do I have to speak up? Saturday morning. Okay, we've got Mike Hill on board. So this is the 70th Facebook Live I'm doing, so let's just go with 70. So we need 70 people. Thank you, Tyler Henderson, 70. That's a good number. Now, you can spam people, tell your mom to watch, just do something to get 70 people. I mean, come on. We have to get at least 70 people on here. I have a short video clip to show you, just to remind you of these people that I'm going to talk about, because it's come to my attention that there's some really horrible silly season news. And I'm going to go over that first and then do a bit of a season recap. Go over what's happened this year and then go over the car also. So I have my car here. This used to be my race car. I might have actually raced the Euros with this. I think I raced the Euros with this car and then it kind of became my practice car. Then I did the Worlds with another one and then I kept on running my practice car. So I'll go over some of the setup stuff that I'm doing now. I feel like our starting setup is really good. There's a number of new drivers who have joined JQ Racing and they've got the car. Mostly they've got spec Qs. They've added the CNC servo saver top. So that's right here. This gold piece here, we have them in gold or black. So they get the pre-built spec Q. They add this CNC servo saver top. They add the high wing mount and the +1 hexes front and rear. And otherwise it's the standard spec Q. And then, you know, get some pistons and sway bars and that stuff. And they've been really happy with them. We've had drivers switch from Mugen, from Hot Bodies, from Kyosho, from various different cars, and it's always interesting to see when your kind of average driver is used to a certain type of car and they switch to the JQ. I'm always curious to see how they do and how they like the setup. And I have to say that especially now in 2018, we've made great headway with the basic stock setup, because regardless of what car you are leaving to join JQ, it seems that the drivers are comfortable immediately, and they tend to say the same things. They tend to say that, oh, this car has a lot of steering, or it has more steering than my old car, but it's still easy to drive. Like, I have a lot of steering, but the rear still has grip. So they feel like they can drive faster in the corners and the car turns, but it doesn't slide, it maintains traction. And they say that it jumps really well. So it jumps further than their old car. So it's easier for them to clear jumps. And what else? What else do they typically say? Mainly it's those two things, that it jumps really well and it turns well while still having traction. And as for lap times, they tend to be the same or faster. So I'm really happy about that. And I think that's because of the steering, actually. So it has traction, it turns, and the drivers get used to the car and turn faster lap times. They're doing the same thing, but they get faster lap times. So that's maybe the biggest progress that we've made during this year, actually, is just working with what we have, like fine-tuning the settings, the pistons, the upper link settings, arm settings, everything, working to get a good basic setup for you. Okay, we're only over 70 people here, so I need to go over this thing now. We're just checking some comments. Okay, so I'm sure you remember, but I think it was a couple of years ago that this started. There's this like internet Facebook Live. They tried to do a podcast, but I think they were too dumb to actually understand what to do, so they kind of reverted back to only doing Facebook Lives. There are these two shit fountains on the east coast of America. Now, I think I've had a couple of Facebook Lives where I've addressed this shit fountain situation, and basically the situation is this. These two guys, I feel like their sole purpose was to destroy both my personal image and JQ Racing's image in RC in America. Mainly America, because it's mostly Americans that watch this this Facebook Live. This Loop is a Lie is the show. I think it's called that. So these guys basically just try and slander me. And as we all know, me personally, and also JQ Racing, I mean, we have pretty much the best reputation in the RC industry, not just in America, but worldwide. I mean, I'm well respected and basically a class act. So the fact that these guys try and attack my character and are spreading all these lies about me, it just really, really frustrated and angered me. Because I've worked really hard at, you know, being politically correct at all times and respecting everyone and just kind of keeping my opinions to myself and really, really trying to be neutral and everyone's friend. So the fact that these shit fountains go out there and undermine all the hard work that I've been doing over these years, it's just unacceptable. So anyway, I have a video here I'd like to show you. So just to remind you who these guys are. At least in this video you can see one of these guys. So this I don't know, this is some other guy. I don't know this guy, but let's see what they have to say here. So you'll shortly see the other shit fountain come on this video.
Give him a lot of credit. I mean, JQ is
this
JQ is extraordinarily intelligent. JQ is extraordinarily intelligent. That guy.
This guy.
He can set up a car. He can talk about cars. He can talk about all that shit with RC. He's written one of the best all-purpose setup guides that pretty much exists out there. He's talking about doing like an all-inclusive setup book, which I think is a genius idea.
I mean, JQ is a smart dude.
It sounds like he's giving me credit, but just wait.
I don't know a great deal about Finland. Have you ever taken the time to sit and read the Black Edition manual?
No.
Oh my God. You want a good laugh?
Dude, you must have been really bored.
No, dude, someone told me about it, and I was like, come on, it can't be that good. I downloaded the manual. Read it from cover to cover, because the quips and the sarcastic little comments throughout the entire thing literally make it one of the funniest things in RC I've ever read.
There you see. Mr. Shit Fountain himself. That's how happy he is after this guy just gave me some props. So, that's like, I wanted to show you that video because it's the most positive video I could find of these guys. I don't even want to share with you the crap that they've been spreading about me. But there at the end, you saw this guy's face. Shit Fountain number 2 from Loopy's Lane. So he was obviously pretty distraught that this other guy was, you know, basically giving me credit and giving me props for doing a good job. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is that these two guys, both of them, can you believe this? Both of these guys from this Lame Lobsters Facebook Live, I have heard that they have acquired JQ Racing Black Editions. Really, seriously. I mean, I was speechless. I was speechless. Now, it goes without saying that I would never, ever sponsor these guys. I mean, come on. There is no way I will be, I don't want to be associated with these guys. Like I said, JQ Racing is highly respected, and we just can't associate ourselves with a couple of shit fountains from the East Coast. There's just no way. But now I'm hearing that they have committed themselves to JQ Racing by purchasing some Black Editions, assembling them, and they're about to take them to the track. So I've been seriously thinking about this issue, and the best thing I've come up with is a GoFundMe. I think we, just like, you know, in America, the Americans, some of the Americans, they want a wall. They started a GoFundMe and got like a few % of the actual amount they need to build a wall, but they got it, you know, that's hats off to them. I mean, what is it at, like $15 million for a wall in America on GoFundMe? I mean, imagine if they spent that on, you know, housing for veterans, for example, or something else, you know, sending kids to school or building schools. I mean, I'm sure you could get a lot done with 15 million. You're not going to build a wall, but there's a lot of other things you could do. So I was thinking, we don't really need 15 million, but we could set up a GoFundMe just to stop these guys from ruining our name in America. Because we've worked so hard to establish this. I mean, just even look at the other pro drivers like Tebow and Mayfield and Captain Club Race. Just the kind of respect and like the what's the word I'm looking for? Recognition that they give us. We don't want to lose that. We can't lose that. So I really think that we need to set up a GoFundMe where we collect money so we can buy some Mugens or something for these guys so that they don't run JQs. Because I really don't want them to run JQs. So the problem is that they're obviously not very good drivers, you know. So what's going to happen is, I mean, I'm really speechless. I hope they got spec cues so they don't assemble them themselves, because I can only imagine what a mess they make of trying to assemble the car. So then after they built it all wrong, then they go on their, you know, Lame Lobsters Facebook Live and just talk crap about the car and how bad it was to assemble and all the quality issues and this and that, just because they don't know how to assemble a car, basically. Then they go to the track and it falls apart and it's not performing just because of their inability and their lack of mechanical skills. I can already see it. And then, you know, even though it's not a big Facebook Live, but they still have some viewers. So all this negativity, all this crap they're going to be talking about the car, it's just not going to be good. It just really isn't. Anyway, enough of these guys. I don't want to talk any more about them. How about we go over this year instead, 2018. A lot has happened, and yeah, someone just set up the GoFundMe. That's basically it. Let's hope. I mean, if we're lucky, this rumor is false, and it was just someone, you know, messing with me, and Shit Fountains didn't actually acquire some JQ buggies. Anyway, go home, you're drunk. No, I'm not drunk. What do you mean? I am home. Anyway, Anthony's here. Anthony, there's another guy. You know, there's another guy who always has some nice things to say about JQ Racing. So the year started off. Let's go through the year here. January, I was in America. So I flew over to America end of 2017. Spent a few months there. So January, I was in America. I did the Reedy race. I didn't finish last. I had some epic battles. I'm trying to remember one. Oh yeah, you know what? I had one with Brent Thelke. I remember that. One of the two-wheel drive races. We had a race for the win, I think. Maybe it wasn't the win. Probably wasn't the win. But we had a race to the finish line. I remember Brent passed me on the last corner going onto the back straight, and I kind of clipped the wall and he got me by the line. It was crazy. The Reedy race, one of the best and most fun races to do if you're in the invitational class. Now this year, next year I'm not going to be there because I won't be in America over the winter, but it's always fun when I go there. So we did the Reedy race, then switched to 8 scale, and we had the DNC. So we all know what happened at the DNC. I was falsely accused of putting stickers all over the place on the champagne bottles and the DNC backdrop and all that crap. And then also I was blamed for turning someone's radio off on the driver's stand. Now this Aussie bastard who was racing truck class, I mean, no one cared that I was lapping him and it took me out and broke my truck. No one cares about that. And then he kind of brushed his radio against my finger and it happened to turn off. So I was blamed for the stickers first, then blamed for the radio thing, and I was disqualified from the event. So, I mean, what can I say? It happened. After that, the focus then shifted to the open class, where Max Mert from Finland, 17 years old, I think at the time. I think he was 17. No, he was probably 16. I think he's 17 now. He was in the open class and he was doing well. So we were hoping that he could possibly podium in Nitro, maybe even win if he really focused. And he did. So that was actually really amazing. It was his first real American race. He did the Worlds in Vegas, but that wasn't really a US race. You know, US race, they water the track whenever they want, and there's no schedule, and you're there from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. You know, it's just so different. You don't really get much practice. There's 8 hours between each run. It's just a mess. So for him to go to America and do that well in his first race was really impressive. So I was stoked about that. That was good. That was a really good win for him. And what else happened? Actually, before I was disqualified, I had time to race e-buggy, of course. Of course. I mean, e-buggy is like worse than truggy for me, seriously. It's actually worse than truggy. But I got to race that. So I was in the B main and I bumped. And then I made the A main. And basically I was a waste of space in the A main. Let's face it. The most fun thing that happened was almost a fight breaking out in the pits. That's the most fun thing that happened in e-buggy. So, you know, there were some Europeans there and the Americans blamed them for running gyros. You know, what a surprise. They did well, so the Americans were like, oh, well, I shouldn't say the Americans. I think it was mostly a Canadian, but older gentleman. The thing was that these Europeans did well and then got blamed for using gyros. So gyro talk was in the pits. This is relevant for the story I'm about to tell you. So you have to know about that. So in the B main, it was a pretty good battle. I think Cole Ogden was in it. It was me. It was Joao Figueiredo. And I forget who the other guys were. There was, I think, someone who kind of checked out, I think. But I can't remember who it was. Anyway, so we were fighting for the bump. I was doing pretty good. I was feeling like I could maybe even bump to the main, which was crazy because I hadn't done anything to my car in like 2 years. Because it's e-buggy. And then I made a mistake somewhere, I remember, and I fell. I was either the last guy bumping up or the first guy not bumping. I can't remember. But I was right there. And Cole Ogden and Joao Figueiredo were ahead of me. And then we were going up to the bridge at the back corner. And Joao just basically blasted Cole Ogden off the track. So they both crashed. I don't know what the hell happened. There was just a huge pile up and they blew off the track. So I just went, thank you, got 2 positions. And yeah, I bumped to the A. So then after the race, I guess what happened was is Cole got taken out and he didn't bump then. So, and there was Eddie Larette and Victor and all the HB guys were down there by Tech. And then they ganged up on Joao and his dad and they were all yelling at him and Eddie was all mad and I was all happy, you know. I came off the driver's stand and bumped to the main, whatever, Tech. And then I saw them, you know, arguing with Joao. And then I said, hey, maybe it was the gyro. Like, maybe it was a gyro malfunction. So it just, you know, shot Joao's car into Cole's and off the track. Like, hey, maybe it was the gyro, I yelled. So that's all I did. Like, I just walked by and was like, hey, maybe it was the gyro. Because Eddie just said something to Joao. And then instead of Joao responding, I responded like, hey, maybe it was the gyro. Oh my God. Then a fight almost broke out. It was crazy. Instead of all the HB guys like ganging up on them, they just switched their attention to me. I'm such a genius with these things, aren't I? So I just kept kind of walking towards the pits, and then yeah, some of the HB guys, and there were some other fools also who joined them, not even HB guys, you know, yelling at me, and then we had our, you know, bodyguards. Our own personal Team Compton, but kind of East Coast Team Compton were there, and we also had Team Bermuda there breaking up the fight, which never happened. I mean, I wasn't gonna fight. Look at me, I can't fight. I'd probably fight dirty like courts. Anyway, so that was the most interesting and fun thing that happened in electric, the aftermath of the B main. But it's a shame that I got DQ'd then, because then I didn't get to run my nitro. And actually my nitro was really good at the DNC race. I had some engine trouble in the first qualifiers. I don't really know what the problem was. It was really frustrating because my car had been really good leading up to the race, and then I just couldn't get it to run right. I was even running that dumb 35 Legends class, so I got double practice in qualifying, but throughout qualifying I just struggled. I couldn't get it to run right. Then in the last round I switched out all kinds of crap, and I got it to work, but it was too lean or whatever the hell was going on. Like, at least it kind of worked, and I got a 9th for the round. So I knew, okay, that was a shitty run, not perfect, but the speed was okay. So I was really looking forward to the B main, or wherever I was. I think I was in the B main. So that would have been a fun race, but it's a shame I missed it. Have to go back next year then. So that's the DNC. Max wins. Almost have a fight after the e-buggy race. What else? Oh yeah, I actually left America early. I left America early and I went to Spain. So I did a road trip through Europe. David Ronefalk was staying in the south of Spain. So I went there, and by chance, this is actually pretty crazy, I just knew kind of the area or town or whatever to look for. And I found an Airbnb, and it happened to be like literally like 200 meters from where David was staying. But at that time, I didn't know he was staying there, but it was crazy. Just found a nice Airbnb, and it was so close. So we were basically neighbors. And yeah, we went practicing, and I think we went to a couple of races. Some Spanish National, and Neo was down there, and yeah, it was a good time. It was good. So Spain actually has great tracks, really good tracks for testing and practicing. So that was really fun. And then I spent, I think, about a month in Spain. And then on the way back, I stopped in Germany at the Frankfurt race. I did that. That's always one of my favorites over my birthday. And then I spent some time in Finland, actually. We renovated the office. Actually, I never posted pictures or anything. It's kind of finished now, but it's a weird situation where we got it, let's say 90% finished, and then I moved, so I haven't been back. We made it's 2 rooms, so we made 1 room and 1 kind of walk-in closet style room into an office and small storage. And then the other room, which has a small kitchen and bathroom, we made that into an apartment. So it's awesome. When I'm in Finland, I can go there, I can work in the office, and then I have a small apartment next to it. And then I also rented a larger storage area next to it. And there, me and a couple of friends, we have our dirt bikes there, and I, storage on the walls and all that crap. So it's kind of funny that just after all that time and money was spent on doing that, then I moved. So I've actually made the point of spending 1 night there. So the last night I spent in Finland at the end of the summer, I spent there, I slept there. But anyway, when I go back to Finland, then I'll show you. I'll get some pictures for you. So I did that over the summer, kind of more professional setup, more efficient, nice to work. And then what happened then? We did a US road trip. At the end of the summer, Keenan and I, we flew to America, we flew to Miami. We did a race in Florida. I've never raced Nitro in Florida, so that was pretty interesting. The tracks are, or at least this track, I can't remember the name, but I heard that most Florida tracks are this way. The traction is just ever changing. It goes from loamy to grooved up to slick to, it's just crazy. It's nuts. You really need to be on top of the game and know which tire to pick. And Mills Pond, yeah, it was great, but it was just kind of a struggle to know what to run and when to run it. And yeah, but I enjoyed the track a lot. And then we drove to Myrtle Beach, dodged the hurricane. We went to Flowood, Mississippi. We had a bit of an RC clinic there, did a few laps there. Then we went to one of my favorite races ever, I have to say. This is a race I want to go back to. So the Southern Nationals. Mainly because the track is epic, it's huge, but all the jumps and obstacles, everything makes sense. Like it's just it had a nice flow. It was big, but the landings were also big. High speed. Smoke and noise isn't an issue because the hall is so big. You pit kind of outside the main hall, but still indoors. It's air conditioned. It was just super nice. Super easy, super nice. I liked it. And there were, decent drivers there. I mean, the more good top drivers we get there, the better, I guess. But I really enjoyed that race, the Southern Nats. So I hope I can go back there next year. That would be a lot of fun. The race itself, this was kind of the story this whole year for me. The race itself was a bit of a struggle. In Truggy, I actually did quite well. Surprise, surprise, Truggy, I did better than Buggy. I had a good chance to podium in Truggy. I blew it myself. I had two really bad mistakes, stupid mistakes too. I was running in a good position, and I clipped a pipe and had a dumb long crash in the middle of the track where no one crashes, and that kind of dropped me off to 5th place or whatever. And then towards the end, I was kind of doing well again, and maybe have a shot at 3rd place at least, or something like that. I can't remember anymore. And then I had another dumb mistake, also in a place that took a long time to marshal. So that's a bit of a shame. I'd just like to point out that when I had my first long crash and I was cruising around, I was way ahead of the captain. So I just want to put that out there. Then he really got me back in Buggy, because Buggy was a struggle. Again, I had trouble with my engine. I couldn't get it tuned right. Then I picked the wrong tire also, so the tire was super edgy and crap. My engine was running on, and it was just terrible. So basically, we could cover this now. 2018 has, for me as a racer, been a really bad year. I've not really had good results. I've felt much better sometimes than my results show, because then once the mains come around, I just pick the wrong tire, or my engine isn't running right, or something else like this. But I feel like my personal results don't reflect the progress we've done with the car. I kind of covered that in the beginning, where we've improved the car a lot. Some races, I have to admit, didn't go well also because I was trying different stuff. So I committed to something. I committed to running a different setup. Different diffs, pistons, other stuff on the car, like just to learn and try and find something new. Often when you have a good setup, if you make one change, it's worse. But if you make 3 or 4 changes, then you start to go in a different direction, and it could be better again. So a lot of that has been going on also this year. So 2018, no good results, but I know in my mind that I've made progress. The car has made progress, and I have personally made progress. And having said that, I expect to do far better in 2019, because now also Reds have they updated their carb to a 3-needle carb and made some other tweaks and modifications in their production, and the latest Reds engines I've got have been just perfect, I would say. No issues. Go to the Worlds, no issues. Everything was good. The races I've been doing here in the Philippines, let's say run time 9 to 9:30. Temperature, idle, tune, stable, good. I haven't had problems. So I'm looking forward to 2019 because of that. Car setup, we've gone forward. Reds engines, finally I know how to tune them right. They improved the carb and other stuff, and they're running better. Okay, where were we? Southern Nats. So then, after Southern Nats, the hell did we do then? I don't know. What did we do after Southern Nats? I know that we went to El Paso. that was the last stop, so maybe there was something in between there, but we went to El Paso for the Border Wars, and that was actually a really fun race too. The track was really loamy and got super rough, like motocross style, so I enjoyed that. And I believe it's on the Showers family property, so that's cool. You have a good track down there. That's really awesome. That was a bit of a more of a laid back race. We had an Airbnb again with a bunch of cool guys, and I mean, I was kind of mentally blown out at this point, having spent 3 weeks with Keenan traveling the country, but thank God this was the last race, because it was just such an enjoyable experience that I made it through. Had it been a terrible race, I probably would have committed suicide. But that race kept me alive. Again, we had a set-up clinic there, free obviously, and I tried to, you know, share some wisdom with the people there. Hopefully they enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful. And also, something interesting happened. So I got to race an 8-scale buggy with a joystick. Let's see if there's some pictures actually of that, so you see what I mean. Corbin Showers, this is his home track, and if you don't know, he's I don't know, he's in a wheelchair. I don't know what to call his condition. So he doesn't really have much movement in his limbs, and he drives his 8-scale buggy with a joystick, but he barely moves the stick, like it's just a few millimeters. So he has throttle is forward, brakes is back, and then steering. So if you want to turn left and be on power, then you have to go diagonally forwards and left, you know, you see what I mean? But all the movements are tiny. So, you know, I was feeling pretty confident, and we had a race. So I think it was his dad who wanted me to do this. Just, he wanted to embarrass me, I guess. So anyway, they convinced me to have this race. And it was fastest lap, basically. And actually, is Joey still here? How much did I lose by? I felt like I got one lap, like 80% good. But, man, it was hard. Let me see if I have some pictures here. So, I did manage to do the laps. I'm pretty sure I was still faster than Keenan. You know, I couldn't do any whips or anything, but I was faster than Keenan. But then, kind of to redeem myself, I did do some laps, drinking a beer and driving with one hand. And I did whip it with one hand also. 2 seconds, so I lost by 2 seconds. And the lap time was something like, I don't know, 35 seconds probably. I don't know how Facebook works anymore. Where are my pictures? There we go. Okay, here we go. I do actually have a picture. I'll show you. So this thing. So he drives with this. But the hardest, I mean, it's hard enough to just remember to, okay, I need to be on power, okay, forward, and I want to turn. You know, it's just hard enough to remember that. But then the movements were so tiny. Jesus, it was really hard. So there's Corbin with his wife. And yeah, he was just dialed. Man, that was an experience. But I did say, if I go back there, then I want a new race. Because now I kind of get the idea, and I've slept on it for a year. So I think I can improve. I think 2 seconds, I think I can improve 2 seconds, to be honest. So yeah, there was that. What else happened? Actually, I can look at these pictures so I remember where we've been. Okay, I don't have pictures of everything. That was a bad idea. Bad idea. US road trip. What happened after that? US road trip, you know what? Slowest pitman ever, took 7 minutes to put my wheel back on. Keenan. Okay, Keenan. Let's cover this for her. So, Keenan isn't really allowed to race at these races where we go to and we have a team because he has to work. So he has to work, he has to take care of people and make sure everyone's happy and all that stuff. And you know, he's lefty. He basically half of his body and half of his brain works. So he needs all the help and time and focus he can get to just make sure everyone's okay. So he can't race also. So this last race we said, okay, lefty, you can race truck. Big mistake. He actually said this, okay, after the race, he said, yeah, see, I didn't even break it, he says. And I look at it, and it's basically totaled. The whole thing, you can just take it and throw it in the trash. I actually had to order a new one from Associated. So I need a new Associated for DNC. Just because of Lefty. He did one race with it, and it's ruined. And now he's crying on here that it took 7 minutes to put a new wheel on. Well, Lefty, the reason it took 7 minutes is because the whole bloody hex came off. The pin flew out, hex came off with the wheel, everything. So I had to, you know, reattach all that crap. So that's the last time Lefty's driving one of my cars. That's for damn sure. A waste of time to build a new one now. Yeah. Someone mentioned there in Texas, I also got to, you know, experience the American dream. I got to fire a weapon. I got to shoot a gun. And I'm basically a natural, it turns out. I didn't know, but I'm a natural at the shooting thing. So, what is it called? What did we do, Keenan? What is that thing? Like, clay pigeon shooting thing. Like you have these fucking UFOs that they launch into the air and then you shoot them. So I actually got 3 in a row. You know, at first I was like sucking, missing all of them. And then I got told how I should aim. Like, hey, dumbass, you should aim like this. I'm like, ah, okay, I got it now. Got 3 in a row. Boom. End of story. You know, it's easy. Anyone can do it. I actually don't know what the big deal is. I mean, I did it once, been there, done that. What else happened this year? Do you have any like questions or comments about this year? I've already covered some setup stuff, covered how I sucked this year. Did a road trip in Europe, road trip in America. Euros wasn't very good for me also. Euros, I kind of sucked. Let's be honest here. I don't really know what was going on at the Euros. I just couldn't get a grip on the track and my driving or anything. I was just a waste of space the whole week. Max did well, but I mean, his tire choice and setup wasn't really on point, I feel, in the mains. He did bump from the quarter to the semi, which was good, but then in the semi he was kind of never in it, really. So we need to figure something out for those kind of tracks where it's kind of this weird, it's not exactly high grip, it's not exactly loose, it's this kind of weird deceiving traction, super smooth and hot weather. I don't know. We need to figure something out for those conditions still, I feel. I was going to show them that pic of your terrorist brother. Oh yeah, traveling with Keenan. Okay, another anecdote. So we all know how American police are. We all know. I mean, you must have seen me posting some things about American law enforcement. You must have. If you've seen my Facebook, I tend to comment about those sorts of things. Now, I would say that Border Patrol and all that crap and whatever they're called, I don't know. They're not exactly police, but anyway. Sometimes they set up these checkpoints on roads and they stop you and they check for your papers and crap. Now, I would equate these Border Patrol agents to police. I mean, they're basically the same kind of dickhead. And you have to be on your best behavior. So here we are. We, in the race van, we roll up to a checkpoint in Texas. Basically a stone's throw away from Mexico. Like, most likely, if someone is getting into America illegally, they're going to be on this road. So these guys stop us. And then Lefty the Great, the fucking genius Lefty, is just being a complete dickhead. So imagine this situation. We roll up to the guy. Lefty stops. And the guy is like showing something with his finger. And Lefty's like not rolling down the window, not doing anything. He's like, can I go? Can I go? And then the guy says no. I'm pretty fucking sure he said no. Because I knew that we were not to go. Lefty just fucking goes. And then I tell him, like, I have flashbacks of the videos I've seen. Like, these guys, they take 14-year-old girls in bikinis and pin their face down in the grass and sit on them, you know? What are they gonna do to us? Like, we're obviously a bigger threat than a 14-year-old kid in a bikini. You know, this is not gonna end well. So I yell at Lefty and I get him to stop. Then the guy is back there by the window and I tell Lefty, can you just fucking roll down the window? Like, are you stupid? Are you trying to get us killed here? Can you roll down the window and not go anywhere? Don't do anything, okay? Except what this guy tells you. So, rolls down the window. This guy asked, you know, first has to argue a bit, and he had a bit of an attitude, obviously, because some idiot rolls up in a van, doesn't roll the window down, and just pins it. So this guy's giving Lefty an attitude. Lefty has an attitude because I told him off, and he doesn't like that. And then we're digging for our passports, hand the guy passports, and he said, just pull over here, please. So I had to pull over to the side, and these guys go to check our passports. Now, at this point, there was something with my passport, Lefty, wasn't there? I think, okay, so the last 2 times I entered America, I had issues. Last year when I entered America, I was detained for an hour or something. And they were asking all these ridiculous questions about me living in America and this and that. And like, I've applied for a visa and it's been denied. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I've never been denied a visa. And I just didn't understand what was going on. So I think that's a bit of a tactic. So when you get pulled out of the line and you're taken to the back in immigration and they ask you questions, I think they kind of, they play around a bit and try and catch you in a lie or something. So he was just saying these outrageous things which weren't true, and I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm just telling him the reality of the situation. So anyway, an hour later they let me in. But the guy had said, like, okay, well, next time when you come in, like, well, you might not be let in. I'm like, what the Anyway, so then the next time I come in, second time, this year, I get taken to the back again. Now, this time I'm like, oh my God. Now I'm in trouble. Like, the guy last time said I might not get in. So what's going to happen now? Well, these guys, they were much cooler. they just checked my RC cars and all that stuff, and we watched some YouTube videos, and that was it. So I'm like, well, that was weird. Like, why did the first guy then throw me to the back, like take me to the back if this is all they do? So he just took my information, and that was that. But here's the thing. I discovered I didn't get a stamp. Like, there was no stamp in my passport for entering America. And I can't remember why I noticed this, but I knew this. I knew that I didn't have a stamp entering America. My last stamp was from ages ago. So here we are in Texas by the Mexican border, and I don't have a stamp in my passport. I'm like, I wonder if these fools here in the desert can check electronically to make sure everything's good in my passport and all that, because I don't have a stamp in there. And I wonder if the fact that I don't have a stamp means that this guy who's all, watching YouTube videos of RC cars maybe made a mistake and didn't do something properly and forgot about the stamp in the process. So that's what I'm thinking, like, are we gonna have an issue here? And then this fucking Keenan can't just follow simple directions. I was getting so mad. I'm like, if this guy asks us to get out of the van, I am going to slit Keenan's throat right here with this sway bar. Well, turns out this guy was able to access whatever system he needed, and everything was correct because he sent us on our way. Thank God for that. But that was a bit of a scary moment there. It might have something to do with the man. Yeah, Keenan definitely thought, and for those of you who don't know, I mean, Keenan basically looks like some sort of Latin American gangster. I mean, he definitely doesn't look like he is supposed to be in America. And imagine, oh my God, let's not even go there. What would have happened if they asked us to get out of the van? That would, I mean, that would not have been good. Okay, what's next? Silly season talk. We're gonna do the silly season talk after the New Year because we need everyone to announce their stuff, because I know where these guys are going because of RCGP. So because we've been talking about the series and who can join and what teams people will be on and that kind of stuff. So I sort of know where most people are going and what they're doing. So it wouldn't be fair to just talk about that now, because some of the people have told me these things in confidence, so I can't tell you. You'll just have to wait, and then we'll talk about the silly season after that. And I think we'll also talk about the new cars and all that stuff, like the Kyosho MP10 and what other new cars are coming out. We don't have a new car, we have JQ Black Edition. It's dialed. I mean, dialed enough for the shit fountains. Oh my God, now it's reminded myself of that. Okay. Why is it called emergency silly season? You missed the start then. You have to go back to the beginning after this Facebook Live and watch the beginning, because we covered that. Supercross. Okay, this is the first year now in a while that I won't be at any Supercross rounds. What a shame. I think... Now, I kind of hope that Roxanne will bounce back after his injuries. It would be nice to see him get back up to speed and win the championship. That would be cool. I'm a bit skeptical, but that's kind of that would kind of be my pick. Like, that's what I want to see happen. What I think will happen is I think Tomac will win the championship. I think he will be. I think he will be faster than the others, win the most races, and be more consistent enough to win the championship. That's what I think. Oh yeah, we have Plessinger is moving up. Osborne is moving. Osborne will do well too. Osborne, I think Osborne will join the best riders like Roxanne. It's going to be Tomac, Anderson, Roxanne, Muscan, like the top 4 guys, and Osborne is going to join them as a 5th guy. So I think those are the guys: Tomac, Anderson, Roxanne, Muscan, Osborne. Those five guys. Oh, Savacci too. I mean, Savacci will be there now and then. Like, he'll get a good start, feeling good. He'll be there once in a while. Savacci is one of them. Maybe Plessinger once in a while. The other guys like Cole Seeley and all those fools, once in a while, I think. But those 5 guys, they're like constantly there. That's what I think. I mean, Malcolm Stewart, once in a while, maybe up there. So, that's kind of what I think about the Supercross thing. 250s, I haven't really followed. I don't know who's there. And RCGP, yeah, we're going to have an RCGP team. It's looking like it's going to be Max, Mert, and JQ. That's what it's looking like. There's actually going to be a 40+ main at the RCGPs for the open class. So we're going to have to get Degani over to some of them too, so he can dominate that crap. What do I think Chad Reed's best finish will be? I think Chad Reed is going to get a 3rd. He's going to get a podium, 3rd place. I mean, it would be so cool to see him win, but I just can't see it happening. So I'm going to say 3rd. No truggy, no 10 scale cars at the moment for JQ. Just 8 scale, nitro and electric. Justin Brayton. I mean, Justin Brayton will do kind of the same thing as last year. He'll be up there at some races and then kind of, what is he, like 7 to 12 kind of guy? I mean, he did win a race last year, so he's no slouch, but he's not one of those top 5 who's always there. Are we kind of done here? So yeah, this was the last Facebook Live. I've kind of been lazy with these things because I've been really busy. I mean, I moved to the other side of the planet, and I've had a lot of work to do, both with JQ Racing and just getting new parts done. No new car, but we have some new option parts coming. You know, rear hubs, CVDs, carbon stuff. Working on some C-hub and steering knuckle stuff too, but they're only going to be samples for now. If they work really well, then we'll make them option parts too during the coming year. So I've been busy with that, like car development work, kind of behind the scenes car development work, testing, engine stuff, car stuff, tires, that sort of thing. Like, not the stuff that you don't really see normally. Like, you go racing, I posted a few kind of setup advice things, but a lot of the testing has been stuff that I can't really write about or tell you about. You know, it's kind of future stuff. So I've been busy doing that, and then I've been busy with RCGP also. So that's moving forward. Had some meetings with Scotty Ernst about the format and the schedule for the day and that kind of stuff. The goal is really, I think people don't really understand exactly what we're trying to achieve with RCGP. The current races, I feel, the format isn't good for spectators. So if you're not into RC, and even if you are, the qualifying format we have now, it's not really good to watch. Like, you just see cars going around. It's not exciting at all. And also, if you are a racer, you're at the track, and the way to do it is to run multiple classes, because if you only run one, you don't get much track time, and it's kind of boring. You drive once in the morning and once in the evening maybe at some race, and it's just not, it's not fun. It's not the maximum amount of fun we can have, I feel. So what we're trying to do with RCGP class is, we have the pro class with just a few drivers, which is kind of the Formula One or MotoGP, like the showcase of the sport. Because we want to make this a sport, not just a hobby. So this is what we showcase to the outside world. The outside world, when they see RC, they see these guys. They see these, however many drivers it is, that's the stars of the sport. And they race together, and we do all these, you know, videos and highlights and social media and video content about these drivers, these teams, and that's what the outside world sees. For us RC racers, the people in the hobby, yeah, we see that. It's maybe, you know, not as effective for you because you already know this stuff. But the main difference for you will be the open class. The open class will have a different format to now, where it's not so much qualifying and racing against the clock. Pretty much every time you hit the track, you're racing the other cars on the track. So it's more exciting. Every single race on the track is exciting because you're racing to the finish line. And that's one of the changes that we've done. And it's taken some time to figure everything out. I mean, the timing software has to work differently, and scheduling the races and figuring out the breaks between the races and everything, so that we can package all of this correctly. So we can start at 8 a.m. and be done by 5, or start at 9 and be done by 6. We know exactly when the RCGP class is on, so we can schedule, you know, live shows, and then between those we have enough time to do some features on the teams and that kind of stuff. So there's been a lot to think about other than JQ Racing, just to get this series up and running. And also, you know, all the other stuff we want to do, how we want to build up the pit spots for the pro class. So they'll have pit spots, tents set up for them when they arrive, to make it more professional looking, with just the 2 drivers per team pitting in kind of their pro pits. And like a TV studio thingy for interviews and the live show. All of these things, they don't just happen. You kind of have to plan them and figure them out. So that's also what I've been doing here. Any news about the open class during May in Manila, when the entry is open to register? Yeah, hopefully the entries will open the first week of January. So that's next week. So next week the website should be up. So an updated RCGP website, and then also you'll be able to enter the first race. The way it's going to be done is same as the Neo race. So you request an entry, and then we collect all the entries, and if we get more entries than what the entry limit is, then it's a selection process. So like the Neo race was an invitational for the first year, this is kind of an invitational too. In the future, we hope that there will be a way to qualify for the open classes, so it's not, you know, someone choosing who gets to race and who doesn't, that it's more of a sort of a local and regional qualifying process. So we want to encourage regional racing and club racing and racing at a local level, and we have to incorporate that somehow in the RCGP series and system. So that's still gonna be one day in the future. So for the first year, it's just going to be all the people in RCGP selecting the drivers who can race. If we get too many entries, that is. yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else to say right now. Next year, the goal is to get more into these Facebook Lives again. I've kind of been lazy with them recently because of all the stuff I just explained. Moving and work on developing the car, work on RCGP. It's taken a lot of time and effort, so I haven't bothered with these, but 2019, I'm gonna get back into it. I'm gonna build a car on Facebook Live. I'm gonna build a car, go through all the steps again, just as a reminder, and show you all the things I do to the car when I build it, all the parts I use, any special tips and tricks, tweaks, I'll share them with you. Talk setup while I build the car. So that's gonna be one of the first things I do next year on Facebook Live. And hopefully I'll have much better results next year too. We're gonna do the RCGP series, first series. That's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be at DNC. Some people thought I was banned for life. I wasn't. I'm gonna be at DNC 2019. We're gonna have a big JQ Racing presence there. Still have a few stickers. I'm just kidding. I hope I can do the Southern Nats. I'd really like to do the Southern Nationals, like I said. We're gonna do the Euros. Other than that, it's gonna be RCGPs. I kind of want to do the 10 scale worlds just for fun, just for shits and giggles. Have I heard of RC Garage? Yeah, I know. I've heard of them. I've spoken to those guys. When are you going to announce the Tebow contract? I already gave you a hint. I said, Tebow's next year's deal, no one cares. That was my hint. I'll give you the hint 2.0. No one listens to them. That's why no one cares. No one, not even listening to them. Cavalieri, no, I didn't sign Cavalieri either. I'm not gonna say where he's going either. I can't. Lutz. Actually, they pretty much posted already. The company that signed Lutz basically posted that they signed Lutz. So I can't believe that you haven't gotten on to that. Happy holidays from 3WJS Industries, Michael Norris. It'll burn your house down, but damn, it's cheap. Trademarked. Merry Christmas, Michael, and a Happy New Year. I hope that you got some third world janky shit for Christmas. A written list of parts and accessories to accompany the live build would be nice. Yeah, we can do that in the description. You kind of have, actually, if you've been on our website, let's see, you go to stories.jqracing.com. Then you go to, I don't even know where you go. I'm just clicking here, finding out. So you go to manuals and other downloads. And then the first thing, JQ Racing price list. Click this. This is really genius. So all our parts are listed here, but they're color coded. So the gray parts are Black Edition standard spares. And then the green parts are option parts. And then there are bright green parts, which are must-have option parts. So there you go. Just scroll down here and you see, okay, CNC steering servo arm, aluminium, not aluminum, aluminium servo sail arm. That's a must-have. You need this. You need the CNC servo arm. You scroll down more, what's the next bright green thing? High wing mount, okay, +1 hexes. I already told you about those. What else? What else? Then you have CNC throttle servo arm, also bright green. What else do we have here, bright green? we have a couple of sway bars. These are the sway bars you should get. The 2.2 front, 2.4 front, 2.3 is standard. Rear, you should get the 2.6 and 2.8 rear. Actually, this could be updated. You just need the 2.6 rear. 2.5 is standard. Scroll down some more. We're out of stock on these right now, but we'll have more of them soon. But these carbon plates on the knuckle, they're really good actually. We're making more now. I tested some more, and we'll have 3 different versions of them. You should get them. You should get some pistons, 7 times 1.2, 7 times 1.3, just so you can drill them out, try different setups. Easy adjustment brake linkage, this thing here. Where is it? There. This, you can easily adjust the brake bias with these, so it's worth getting. And that's it. I mean, shit, this is why we're not making any money, because all the option parts are standard on the car. You get the CNC rear hubs, CNC C hubs, knuckles, all that crap. Another good thing actually is the knuckle. So the steering knuckle that we use, the standard is inclined, so it has kingpin inclination. At 0 camber, the kingpin is inclined inwards like this. And what that does is, it's good on a really high grip track where your car is nervous. So around neutral, the car feels aggressive and nervous. That calms it down. Initially, it's smoother, but then mid corner, it turns more. So if you're on a kind of loose track, or if you're on a high grip track with dusty corners or loose sections, it can make the car hard to drive, where you go in the corner and then you want to spin out. Or if there's a section of corners and it feels hard to go through there smoothly, you kind of want to oversteer within that section. Maybe the 0 KPI, so the, let's see, the knuckles with no angle there, which was stock on the LV cars, so the old version, they would be a better idea. JQB 0380 and 381, they're here on the list also. Those are what I run most of the time now, actually. I don't run the Black Edition standard knuckles with the angle, I run the straight ones. I feel more comfortable with them. I feel like the car is easier to drive with them. Initially the steering is maybe more aggressive, but it's just easier for me to connect the dots around the track, and I don't spin out halfway around the corner. Okay, Keenan blaming me for almost burning the pits down at Southern Nats. Lots would be so dope on JQ products. That would actually be pretty funny. The most religious person in the history of the universe, Ryan Lutz. And the most non-religious person in the universe, JQ. We've actually had some epic discussions about religion on Facebook Messenger. Basically, Lutz has prayed for my soul and hopes that I find the right path. And I don't know, I basically just, I'm in awe of how someone can be so religious. I don't know what to say, but it's been good. We've had some good discussions, definitely. Is the JQ Threads webshop live yet? You know what? Would you believe it? Would you believe it? It's been next month for about 4 years now. And it's still next month. We actually have all the pictures taken now. And some of them just need editing. The structure for the webshop is there. The clothing exists. I mean, come on. If it's not next month now, then I really don't know what to do or say. I mean, we have the clothing, we have the web shop, we have the pictures. Let's just get this done now. Okay. Oh, another thing we did this year, actually, kind of big thing we did this year, was we got rid of our own web shop. So the last few years, what we've been doing is we've had a JQ Racing web shop for America, and we had one in Finland for Europe. So that was working well, and we started building up a team, and we got Keenan on board, and Keenan did a great job in America getting team drivers and just regular customers, and we got a whole bunch of people ordering from our web shop in America. And then we did the same thing in Europe too. And what we decided to do then during this past year was to shut down our own web shops, because we found BeachRC, I never remember if it's North or South Carolina. I think it's South Carolina. East Coast anyway. East Coast Mafia, BeachRC, they founded JQ Racing USA. So if you type in jqracingusa.com, it goes to a web shop with only JQ stuff on it. You can also go on BeachRC, and they also have JQ stuff there on their web shop. And they basically took over our operation. So we shipped over all our stock to them, and they still haven't put some of the older car parts on there, but hopefully soon. So what we wanted to do is, because we were growing beyond our capabilities, we either had to hire staff and get a bigger place and grow the operation, or outsource it to someone else. And I'm a big believer of running a lean operation, keeping everything small, and outsourcing everything you don't need to do. And BeachRC is much better at processing orders, managing stock levels, handling all that crap, and shipping out orders than we are. And I don't want to be a hobby shop. I want to be a brand. I want to have a product, develop a product, market it, sell it, that's it. I don't want storage, I don't want to ship stuff. So BeachRC took over, and now it's really picking up again. So we kind of had a dip there for a moment, I feel, when people were finding their way to BeachRC and JQ Racing USA, but now it's picking up, and I'm very happy to see that. So going into 2019, I think we can not only achieve what we were doing before, but we can go beyond that, because BeachRC can offer better service. They'll have the stuff in stock, they'll ship out faster, and you can also get other stuff from there when you order the JQ stuff. So I think this will be a very good thing for us going into 2019. And we did the same thing in Europe also, and basically the same applies for Europe. We have all our stock now in France at it's like, he has a few names for it. RC Streamline is his distribution company, but it's Donuts. Let's see what the web address actually is. It's donuts-racing.com. Donuts-racing.com. And he's still working on the JQ Racing section, but he does have his website in English now. So at the top of the website you just click English and go to cars and select JQ, and you have all the cars and the spares there. And so what happened in America was we signed over our team drivers from our own web shop to the JQ Racing USA site or BeachRC site, and we're doing the same thing in Europe. So the guys who were on our team in Europe, they get signed over here to the Donuts website, the website. Okay, so the same thing applies. I think we can do a much better job of supporting our customers in Europe through Donuts Racing than what we could do ourselves. We're going to be able to ship out faster, we're going to have more stock available, we're going to be able to support our customers better from France. Then another thing also happened. Actually, let's end on this note. So I started a Patreon, because for a while I was thinking that I do all this crap, like I I do all these guides and I have these Facebook Lives and I make an effort to explain how setup works and all these different things, you know, how to build a car, how to maintain it, how to drive, how to race, how to do this, how to do that. So I do all that, and it's fine. It's, you know, brand promotion, whatever. Some people like it and they buy a JQ car, but it doesn't make sense financially to do it. Like, I should spend that time doing something which can make money. Like, I should spend that time improving the product or doing marketing or sales, which has a more direct return. And all the while, I wasn't really happy with the guide I have. Like, it's outdated. I need to update the guide. So I thought, okay, so if people really want this, then they should pay. They should support it. They should invest their hard-earned cash, even if it's like 1 cup of coffee a month, a few dollars a month. And if enough people want it, then I can actually do this. So I started a Patreon, patreon.com/THEQuagraine. And we now have 111 people supporting there. So that's really good. I decided that once we reach 100 people, I'll start working on the guide. So now I have over 100 people supporting me there. I'll start doing the guide. And when we reach 200, then we'll start doing the illustrations and the graphics for the guide, because I'm gonna have to pay someone to do that. And with the money earned off Patreon, I can do this. I can pay someone to do the illustrations and the graphics. I can pay someone to do videos. So we have really high quality videos of everything. I do the writing, and we'll have a nice guide for everyone racing 8-scale off-road. So that project has started now, and I hope that we can attract more people, even if it's just a few dollars a month. It all helps. It all adds up. If we can get a few hundred people on here, then we'll have a guide in no time. Another thing that we did with this was we started a podcast. So I got Keenan, Lefty the Great, to start a podcast. You know, I had to argue with him for about a month or something. He's such a big baby, you know. He's one of those people, you know, who just can't do anything until he does it. Then he realizes that he can do it. And actually, when it comes to the podcast, that's pretty much the best thing he's done. To be honest. I mean, he's natural at running his mouth. Except when it comes to Border Patrol, then he just didn't, you know what to say and was a complete mess. But on the podcast, he does well. So we started the podcast thanks to this Patreon, and it's doing good. 8 episodes in, and I think the next few episodes are going to be really great because I'll be on it. And also, Keenan likes to think that it's his idea. It's ridiculous. Keenan thinks that the podcast was his idea. It just blows my mind. Anyway, I'm just happy that he's doing it. So we'll have weekly podcasts next week. Next week. Weekly podcasts next year. Actually, next week, yeah. Next year is next week. So there we go. Patreon, guide, podcasts. I'm over this shit. Let's end this. I feel like we covered everything we needed to. Next week or the week after, we'll have a silly season No Name RC podcast online. We'll talk about the drivers switching, and we'll also talk about the new cars like the Kyosho MP10 and whatever other new cars are out there. Keenan, can you stop talking about the fire incident? So, we were at the Southern Nats, and Keenan had this third world janky lipo in his starter box. Wait, third world janky... What was it? What was the brand? Third world janky shit lipo? company. Anyway, it was a hopeless lipo in his starter box. Anyone can see that. So I'm like, oh my God, Keenan. Now, the reason I didn't have a starter box is because I forgot it or someone stole it. I'm going to say someone stole it at the previous stop we made. So I didn't have a starter box. So I had to use Keenan's third world shit. So I was charging it, his lipo with his charger, and it blew up. And it was so funny because we were all in the pits and we were all gathered around whoever, trying to, you know, figure out their car or something. And then I go, what's that smell? And Keenan says, I kid you not, Keenan says, oh, that's Maxima fuel. I'm like, Keenan, I've been racing RC cars for, what, 20 years? That's not Maxima fuel. What is that smell? And he's like, oh, I don't know. It smells like some kind of chemical or something. And then I turn around to walk to my pit, and then there's just a mushroom cloud of smoke coming out of the starter box, which is right there next to me. Okay? So I'm like, oh, well, that was obviously the smell then. So then I go to unplug that thing, and it blows up in my face. It literally just blows up again in my as I'm unplugging it. So I just jump to the corner of the tent. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not going to burn my eyebrows off. And then Keenan goes in and, you know, with his gimp arm, just throws the starter box in the middle of the floor on the tent. And in the tent, concrete floor though, which is good. We didn't have the carpet up. That was actually lucky. We had no carpet there. So then the thing is just burning on the ground. It falls out to the starter box. And then I think Tony runs up and he throws a towel on it, which just made it worse because the towel caught on fire. And then, I don't know, people were stomping on it. And we should have had Lefty just roll over it or something. And it went out and we didn't burn the tents down. But, I mean, Keenan is trying to blame me for this. And it was his shitty lipo and starter box and charger. It's all him. You know, he's a fucking mess. It's not my fault he can't figure out his lipos. Jesus Christ. Team shirts. Do you want some new college shirts? Yeah, we are making more of these. We're gonna make shirts like this with the Beach RC logo in America, and then with Donuts Racing in Europe, and then just generic ones. Same as this on the front, different on the back. So we're gonna have these, and once we figure out our RCGP team and sponsors, then we'll make new team college shirts also, and those will be on sale then when that time comes. Okay, that's it. Yeah, we'll have some college shirts, zip up hoodies too. We'll do all that shit once we figure out the RCGP team and sponsors and that stuff, because then we'll use it for the whole year. Keenan, it's not always your fault, but it's always your fault when it is your fault. And mostly it's your fault. Just like that Border Patrol agent. That was completely your fault because you were an idiot. The guy says stop and he's like, oh, I can go, and he goes. I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm done. I saw you, Truggy. I'm over and out. I'm done with this. See you next year, people.